Have you ever been so excited about a dream finally coming true, only for it to feel like the whole world was against you? That was me the day I packed my truck, loaded with everything I owned, and drove up the winding road toward the little log cabin I had spent the past 2 years saving for. This wasn't just a cabin to me. It was my sanctuary, my escape from the noise of city life, and the place where I believed I could finally breathe freely. But I didn't know that while I was halfway up the mountain, the very community I thought would welcome me was dialing 911, ready to treat me like a criminal before they even knew my name. When I pulled into the gravel driveway, heart pounding with joy, I caught sight of flashing red and blue lights through the trees. 2 squad cars were parked right outside my cabin. My stomach dropped. I had done nothing wrong. Yet the sight of police waiting at the place I had dreamed about for so long felt like a nightmare unfolding. I stepped out of the truck slowly, my hands shaking but raised to show I had nothing to hide. "Sir," one officer called out firmly. "We got a call from the homeowners association. They said someone was trespassing." "A trespassing?" My name was on the deed. My money had paid for this place. I pulled the crumpled folder from my glove box, papers spilling onto the ground as I tried to explain, my voice cracking. "This is my home. I bought it. Please, I'm not trespassing." The officers looked at me, then at the papers, then back at me. There was a long silence, and all I could hear was the rush of my own heartbeat in my ears. Then something unexpected happened. One of the officers, a tall man with kind eyes, closed the folder and handed it back. He didn't cuff me. He didn't order me off the property. Instead, he said softly, "Son, you don't need to prove you belong here. You already do." The other officer nodded in agreement. Relief washed over me like a wave, but confusion lingered. Why would my neighbors want to stop me before I even moved in? The truth came the very next day. I woke up to the sound of footsteps crunching on the gravel outside. A group of people stood near my cabin. Men and women in their 50s and 60s mostly, the kind of people you'd expect to run an HOA. They didn't look angry, but their folded arms and cautious eyes told me this wasn't going to be a warm welcome. My instinct was to brace myself for a fight. After all, they had called the cops on me. But instead, their leader, a silver-haired woman named Marlene, cleared her throat and said, "We owe you an explanation." They thought the cabin had been abandoned for years, a property caught in endless legal disputes. To them, a stranger moving in without notice looked suspicious, like I was squatting. The HOA had acted out of fear, not malice. Still, their choice to call 911 instead of knocking on my door had cut me deeply. I told them as much, my voice trembling with a mixture of hurt and determination. All I wanted was a home. I didn't expect to be treated like a criminal before I even unpacked a box. Something shifted in their faces. The hardness softened. Marlene stepped forward and admitted, "We were wrong. And if you'll let us, we'd like to make it right." I didn't know whether to believe her, but over the next few weeks, they proved they meant it. Neighbors showed up with tools and supplies, helping me patch the roof and clear the overgrown yard. One man, Carl, spent an entire Saturday repairing the old porch steps with me, laughing like we had been friends for years. Marlene herself baked pies and brought over hot meals, saying she wanted me to feel welcomed, not watched. Slowly, the fear I had carried that first night gave way to something I hadn't expected. Community. The same HOA that had once called the police on me now stood shoulder to shoulder as I officially moved into my cabin. The officers even came back, not for an arrest, but to shake my hand and join the neighbors for a celebratory barbecue under the pines. Looking back, I realized something important. Sometimes people act out of fear because they don't know your story. Sometimes what looks like rejection is just the first step toward a deeper connection. That cabin didn't just give me peace, it gave me people. And now, when I sit on the porch and watch the sun dip behind the mountains, I know I'm not alone anymore. So if you ever feel like the world is against you, remember this: sometimes the ones who seem to shut you out are the very ones who might open their hearts the widest once they understand who you are. My cabin isn't just a home. It's proof that fear can turn into friendship, and strangers can become family.